Forget it. Let's go meet Astaroth.
Okie dokie. Off to the principal's office then.
Lilith once again slid the classroom door open, her trademark smile unfading.
Lilith?
I was about to join Sorami in asking what she was up to, but the moment Lilith opened the door, all became clear.
Ugh.
The room, once filled with dozens of students, had transformed into a cramped, dimly lit office. A man sat at a massive ebony desk in the middle, casually resting his feet on its surface.
Lilith, Raziel, and oh, it's you.
The man's features reflected youth, yet compared to us who were still in our teens, he's unmistakably an adult. He appeared to be in his mid-20s, emphasis beyond appeared. After all, Lilith and Raziel themselves were several thousand years old. The black and white suit he wore looked oddly fitting on him, potentially because it accentuated the dichotomy he stood for. Astaroth. His status varied depending on which grimoire one's consulted. It all agreed that he was a high-ranking demon lord. He can certainly be counted among the three most powerful beings living here, the other two being Samael and Belial. Lilith?
I was muted. Hey, Astaroth, any news?
Would I be wasting away in this room if there were? To answer your question, no. Heaven remains sealed, and hell is still very much flooded. As for this soaring purgatory, its future doesn't look any less uncertain.
Didn't sound like he enjoyed getting these questions.
Glad to hear things are still going swell.
Never been worse. Anyway, care to explain that human over there? I believe I've already met the other one.
Ah, right. She's Kagutsu Sorami.
I'm Kagutsu Sorami. Nice to meet you.
Ah, so you're the one who inherited Gethel's eyes. And by observing me, you aim to familiarize yourself with a powerful magical flow. I see.
Pretty much, yeah. With that said, Sorami, thoughts on Astaroth?
Sorami narrowed her eyes.
I'm detecting a divide of some sort. Between man and woman.
No surprise there. My origins date back to the goddess Ishtar, after all. That's most likely what's causing you to view me in such a way.
So, you're a crossdresser?
Amelia felt a sudden near-volcanic surge of murderous intent in the room. Astaroth himself was smiling.
My breath is poisonous, you know. Care to test it? We're talking about the kind of unidentified viral outbreak that could easily dwarf even Ebola.
I'm really sorry. Please, pretty please forgive me.
Sorami lowered herself into perfectly aligned kneeling position.
That was fast. Worry not, I forgive you.
Score! I was forgiven.
Sorami pushed herself erect and assumed a victory pose.
You certainly know how to handle yourself around a demon lord, Sorami. Well, I'd say that's a good thing. Anyway, next up on the agenda would be checking up on the humans.
In that case, take this list with you.
Astaroth produced a list from the drawer of his desk, then tossed it in Lilith's direction.
Oh, could this be a list of all the pilgrims who had gone missing? I was planning to get one from Samael, but this will do just fine. Thanks a bunch.
A list of missing pilgrims?
Don't mention it. By the way, Lilith, I have a certain matter to discuss. Something only meant for a demon's ears. Could you...
You mean Raziel should go?
Correct.
Lilith threw a quick glance in Raziel's direction. The angel let out a drowsy yawn, seemingly on the verge of nodding off.
Alright. Raziel, could you leave us alone for a moment?
Sure, I'll go back to our room to sleep. Night.
Raziel waved us goodbye, sleepily staggered out the room.
Sorami and Setsuna, you two stay. I mean, they aren't angels. And Setsuna's someone I personally summoned here, so he should be fine, right?
Very well. On the matter at hand, then. I shan't mince matters. Tell me, are you involved with the creation of Adam?
This expression darkened in an instant, which Sorami took as a cue to hastily retreat all the way back to the entrance. A heavy atmosphere of undiluted animosity descended upon the room. A gust of unchained bloodlust ripened to preposterous heights, enough to make one's skin crawl. Its source was Lilith herself. She was directing at Astaroth, who bore the full blunt of her monstrous aura. All that Sorami and I received from the Sizeword was but a gentle breeze compared to its full intensity. If a mere fragment of her aura could have had such an effect on us, its full brunt would no doubt outright liquefy the average person.
Don't insult me, Astaroth. Me, involved with Adam. That wouldn't even cut it as a third-rate joke.
That's the response I was hoping for. Still, you can't exactly blame me for being suspicious. Excluding Eve, the one most familiar with Adam is none other than you.
Lilith covered her face with a palm. She ground her teeth and would have even produced a massive bulging vein on her temple, had this been a scene from a manga. The temperature in the room up to this point was bordering on the Arctic, and now felt akin to having a bucket of liquid nitrogen splashed on one's face.
Listen here, Astaroth. You've been top dog for how many years now? And you still haven't learned not to utter that man's name in my presence.
A violent chill rushed up my spine as the atmosphere in the room turned oppressive, near suffocating. As for Sorami,
Man, I'd kill for a rice bowl.
she appeared to have completely blocked out her surroundings. A sound decision, all in all.
Do you honestly expect a demon lord to care for such things?
Oh, alrighty then. Guess I'll have to educate you.
I better stop them. Lilith, forgive me for interrupting, but could you maybe let this go? Sorami's mind is drifting farther and farther from reality by the second. Besides, you aren't really angry, are you?
Oh, I'm absolutely furious. Furious that you've basically made a litmus test out of whether or not he could stop me.
Oh, how disappointing. If you knew that from the start, you should have said something.
Lilith let out a sigh.
Listen, Astaroth, just hearing Adam's name is enough to make me lose all control. Still, I suppose we could say I did play a teeny tiny part in how the angels created their own Adam.
Oh, that's quite the surprise.
Hardly. I merely left the angels a little message after learning they wanted to recreate Adam, telling them to make sure his face looked different from the originals. Otherwise, I couldn't have contained the urge to claw his eyes out every time I looked upon him, you see.
Astaroth giggled jovially.
I see. That explains why he looks nothing like the first one.
That's as far as my involvement was concerned, so I don't know how things turned out, but does he really look that different?
Yes, and I don't just mean his facial features. It would appear his abilities have also been tampered with. The current Adam was implanted with knowledge of all combat data recorded during the various wars fought between angels and demons.
Excuse me?
Lilith nearly stumbled over her words in surprise. This new piece of information was shocking enough to quell what little anger she may still had left.
We're talking about data spanning thousands of years. Considering the timing of it all, even us demon lords grew suspicious, wondering if he were to be a herald of the Armageddon.
Whoa, slow down there. As far as ranks are concerned, it's true that Adam could easily be counted alongside angels and saints. But thousands of years worth of combat data? There's no way his brain could store that much information.
It's Eve.
The name made Lilith's expression undergo a swift change.
Eve, what does she have to do with all this?
Astaroth couldn't help but sigh.
I see you're still in the dark. Or maybe you're intentionally choosing not to find out. At the same time of the divine calamity, the angels took Eve. You were aware of this, were you not?
You're kidding me.
The angels gave her a new role. She's the one storing all of that combat data, while Adam merely makes use of whatever he needs at a given time.
I see. With Eve, I suppose that could be possible.
Eve is a perfect human being created by God. She may not be able to do battle herself, but keeping track of a few thousand years worth of data is mere child's play to her.
What's the possibility of this crippling her mind?
The angels did talk of implementing a safety lock of some kind, though it remains to be seen how much of that was true. At any rate, if her mind does collapse, it would most certainly eliminate all our fears. There's no one left to create a third Adam, you see.
Gotcha. Anyway, what's your angle, Astaroth? Want to see Setsuna and Adam duke it out till either one dies? Something like that?
Nonsense. Do you honestly believe I'd plot something so foolish in times as dire as these? Besides, what point would there be in lording over a Tokyo Babel? I'm hardly naive enough to aspire for kingship over a shambling ruin of a city.
Lilith and Astaroth exchanged an intense glare. For the time being, I decided to check on Sorami. Her mind once again rooted in reality. She observed the two demons' verbal confrontation in a state of complete awe.
Oh man, nothing beats the battle of wits between two rival schemers.
You really are taking this quite well, are you not?
I guess so. But come on, I know you agree with me, Setsuna.
Look back, Lilith. Out of clothes, to be more specific. It is somewhat difficult to take the battle of wits seriously when she's still wearing that tracksuit.
Stop, you're ruining it!
I believe it'd be best if we called it a day for now.
Agreed. Well, provided our goals are the same, I'd like to believe there won't be any unnecessary rivalry between us.
Oh, but of course. And with that, I bid you farewell and the best of luck on your pilgrimage.
Lilith vanished in the doorway with Sorami in tow. Astaroth called out to me just as I was about to follow them out.
Tell me, do you trust Lilith?
Well, I would say I have no choice but to do so. Astaroth's lips curved into a wicked smile.
You may wish to reconsider. She's the witch of the night for a reason. She'll exploit you, then cast you aside like trash without as much as a second thought.
I detected a hint of pleasure in his tone, which was most likely what made me want to be frank with him. I care not. And that is to be my fate? I would gladly embrace it. In fact, that is exactly the conclusion I'm hoping for. I made my intentions clear, but a gaze colder than the coldest of winters.
I see your mind is already made. Well, no matter. Not at all. Make sure to tap into that tenacity of yours as you embark upon your pilgrimage.
There's nothing more? I'll be taking my leave now.
Yet remember this, young man. You must be ever wary of Lilith. Understand that she is a witch of tremendous power, and her spell could very well charm you just the same.
I left the room without uttering another word as Astaroth looked on, his smile never once wavering.
You sure took your time.
Astaroth warned me not to trust you.
Aw, Mr. Astaroth's just a big old bully. How can you not see the kindness in Lilith?
That's a bit of an exaggeration, no? I mean, I'm the witch of the night. Watch out, 'cause I will bite, you know?
That was an awfully peculiar way of putting it.
But you have a heart of gold. I bet you'd even quietly let the other have the last piece of a snack in the bowl.
No, I wouldn't.
Oh, then you're a big bad demon.
Food is your measuring stick for my moral compass now?
That's the human race for you.
Hey, what are you getting all pensive for? I'm a demon, okay? The witch of the night?
Oh, I got an idea. Lilith, could you say I'm a big bad archdemon, fear me, in a silly childlike voice?
Huh? Okay,
I am a big, bad archdemon. Fear me! I'm super, duper, strong. Roar! Roar!
Oh my gosh, I'm dying for cuteness!
I was toyed around with.
More like thoroughly deceived. Lilith took the list in one hand, declaring she investigated some of the people on it, then trotted off. She also had Sorami accompany her, leaving me alone in the hallway. Well now, what was I to do now?
Have you need of me, Lord Astaroth?
Frank narrate.
A monocled elderly man slithered out of the shadows, blanketing one corner of the room.
Lucifuge. What of the angels? All of them, my lord? All of them. They make continued attempts to claw themselves out of the desperate situation they're in, much like ourselves. Indeed, with the four master angels' whereabouts currently unknown, it has fallen upon the Samael to rally their numbers on his own. Samael. A man of simple principles, yet not one to be underestimated. He is hardly the type to be receptive to bribery and corruption either. There must be someone at the angels' side, acting from the shadows. Avoid Samael and observe their powers. Understood.
Lucifuge honored his master with a respectful bow, then, mimicking the way in which he had at first appeared, retreated back towards the corner of the room, ultimately melting into its shadows. Astaroth allowed himself a brief soliloquy upon confirming that his servant was gone.
Fate truly does work in mysterious ways. With Lucifer and Beelzebub both gone, I claim the throne of hell as the sole remaining survivor. Yet none of it matters. Not a worthless atom of it. There is nothing left to lord over. Still, I cannot entrust Tokyo Babel to anyone else either. I need to keep my promise to him, no matter what. But still, life is indeed a weary toil, and I'm forced to admit.
Astaroth exhaled yet another sigh, one longer and deeper than all those preceding him.
It had been a busy day by the end of it. We all regrouped at the night duty room. Raziel looked like she was ready to doze off at any second, though.
Ugh, I feel like my eyes are about to fall out of their sockets. Setsuna, do you guys keep any eye drops around here?
Thoroughly exhausted, Sorami threw herself on top of a Tatami mat. Having to continuously use her powers during the day must have placed a considerable burden on her. As for the eye drops, I do not think we do. Sorry.
Oh dear. Raziel, you got any eye drops? The kind for humans, I mean. Not the one for angels or demons.
I only have the angel variety, I'm afraid. Won't that do?
Yeah, I have a feeling my poor mortal eyes wouldn't be able to handle those divine drops.
Remember, your eyes are now Gethel's, so feel free to take the angel drops. It'll be fine. By the way, I have the demon kind right here with me.
Lilith reached into her pocket and produced a vial filled with a vivid, terracotta blue liquid. Felt like the kind of thing that could easily set up a Geiger counter just by being in its vicinity.
See? It doesn't look very inviting to a human like you, right?
Yeah, I'd prefer not to have that thing anywhere near my eyes. Ever.
Sorami let out a nervous laugh while pouring a white, faintly glittering drop of the angel medicine into her eyes.
Gosh, this kicks in right away.
Should avoid excessive blinking.
I'm so tired and hungry.
Guess it's that time already. I'll go grab something from the cafeteria. What do you guys want?
Anything would do. However, if it at all possible, I prefer liquid nutrients. I have no idea whether or not they even have those here, though.
I'd like an apple pie and some morning black tea. And 3 apples if they have any.
For me, well, at this hour, anything edible will do. But I'd like some herb tea to go with it. Pretty please.
Gotcha. Be back in a minute.
Just like that, she casually left the room. Literally a minute later,
I'm back!
That was fast!
Liz strolled in, nonchalantly dropping the 4 plastic bags she had been carrying onto the floor.
Thank you.
Much appreciated.
Wow, a strawberry sandwich? Yummers.
My bag seemingly contains something to meet my needs. A 3,000 calorie pack of high concentration liquid nutrients. I gulped the whole thing down one go. Thus complete my nutritional intake for the day. Sorami is still busy happily wolfing down her sandwiches. In the meantime, Raziel carefully nibbled away at her apple pie at a steady pace, her expression awash with joy and fulfillment.
Phew.
Having finished the last drop of her tea, Sorami exhaled a drawn-out sigh.
I gotta hand it to you, Sorami. You're taking this whole situation really well for someone who kinda just got caught up in the middle of it all.
Oh, you think so?
To be entirely frank, we are in a situation that most people would simply dismiss as a bad dream to protect their sanity. Sorami rebutted my words with a bold declaration of her own.
Screw that. I want to live in the present. Well, I mean, I did lose all my memories of both family and friends, but still.
Despite that, Sorami's laughter was as cheery as ever. I wasn't sure if I should call it strength of will or perhaps she simply transcended such worries. At least that's the impression I got.
Either way, I'm glad you're being optimistic about it.
Now the relief has made me sleepy all of a sudden.
Sorami, shall I prepare our futons? She simply waved her hands my way.
Please do.
I took the futons from the nearby closet, spread them out across the floor, after which Lilith helped Sorami roll under the sheets.
So fluffy.
Glad to hear that. Well, you've had a long day, so do get some rest.
But what if I wake up to find this was all a dream?
Count yourself lucky, maybe?
I'm not so sure. I might run into another weirdo trying to kill me.
Worry not. If that comes to pass, I'll be there to save you.
Huh?
We'll go to your aid again. As such, you need not worry yourself. Sorami stared at me round-eyed for a brief second, then pulled her blankets up to her face, mouthing a barely audible, "Thanks." The next moment, Liv flashed a deeply disturbing smile.
Trinity grin.
I really do not think there's a need to actually pronounce that word like you just did.
Watching Sorami go to bed has made me sleepy too.
Alright. Nighty-night, Raziel.
Raziel nodded and buried herself under a layer of thick blankets, which left me and Lilith as the only ones still on their feet.
Aren't you gonna sleep, Setsuna?
I do not sleep. More specifically, I do not actually need sleep. Excluding times of emergency, my body, mind, and nerves were always in a state of rest. Partial sleep would be one way to describe it. I was very much capable of sleep naturally, but could also technically sit here, wait for morning to come, if I so desired.
Well, I'm not called the Witch of the Night just for show, so I don't particularly need sleep all that much either.
Lilith rose to her feet, changing back to her usual attire in a blink of an eye, she then gestured towards me with a smile.
How about a little trip to the roof? Just the two of us?
There's something to see up there?
Maybe. Maybe not.
Accompanied by an ominous chuckle, Lilith extended a hand towards me, which, following a moment's hesitation, I ultimately took. After carefully closing the window Lilith had left open as she leapt out into the night, I, too, took to the skies in pursuit. Pandora's exterior was that of an average school building, with one notable exception: its height. A quick glance would estimate the structure to be around 4 or 5 stories tall at most, yet reaching this rooftop took considerably more time than what such a height would normally entail, almost as if the floor simply continued on in an endless loop. Still, and I once broke my flight, knowing very well that I would eventually reach the rooftop.
Hey you, make sure to properly visualize a rooftop in your mind. Otherwise, you'll just keep going in an endless loop.
I would never reach the end unless I do that? No wonder the building felt somewhat bigger than I expected. If it did house 100 million people.
Yep. The laws of physics don't exactly work here the way you might expect. Things just go on without end, unless an outside observer wills it otherwise.
With that, I was able to clearly visualize the end through a simple act of calculation. I carefully determined the approximate height of an academic campus, fit to accommodate 100 million people. Whether or not my calculation was correct did not matter, though I myself was confident in my results. What did matter was the establishment of a set distance, a specific end point to be reached. Cutting my way through the dense, freshly accumulated fog, I successfully made my way towards the roof.
Visualization complete. Right then.
I lay on the rooftop around the same time as Lilith, while I take in my surroundings. The place looked awfully ordinary for a building housing roughly 100 million people. The only difference of note was the lack of any city lights to be seen in the distance. Lilith probably hopped atop the rooftop fence. Was there even a point to such a thing in a place like this? Making herself comfortable. Fabricated stars glitter upon the canvas of a makeshift sky, as seemingly altered locations.
Allow me to once again congratulate you on a job well done. Not only did you defeat the maddened Gethel, you also succeeded in rescuing Kagutsu's Sorami.
I simply acted upon your orders.
That you did. And I'll have you keep on doing that until the day you lack even the strength to stand. Don't you worry.
I nodded. I'm glad we have an understanding. Embarrassed giggle left Lilith's lips.
It'd be great if you could at least level a complaint or two at me, you know.
I am in no position to do such a thing. My life and world had long since been consumed by fire. I cared not how the remainder of my existence was put to use.
I see. Either way, Setsuna, mind if I ask you something?
Go ahead.
Your world could not be saved. It was reduced to dust. Yet here you are, staking your life to save another, all on my orders.
That is correct.
Do you ever resent your new life?
Not particularly. I never felt that way, nor did it ever cross my mind to do so. I was born and raised for the sake of man, a group I ultimately betrayed. I chose to live for myself, thus caused the deaths of millions. I committed a grave sin, as such the remainder of my life, if it could even be called such, held no value to me whatsoever. Consequently, I long to find a person who would make use of it to further their own ends. In my case, and not being a demon, though. If I am able to help someone, I will help them. At this point, it matters little to me if they are angels, demons, or people from alternate worlds. As long as people were in need of aid, I would be there to save them. As long as I had adversaries to face, I would be there to stop them. In that road was paved with carnage and death. Even when my fate was to be abandoned and discarded, I still press on.
I see. Oh, is it me, or did you sound somewhat different just now?
I slipped up. You're imagining things. Lilith looked at me with the mischievous gaze of a child who just came up with the perfect prank. A bad feeling about this.
I'm not. Nope. Oh, I heard you clear as day. I totally did.
You must have heard something wrong. I've not changed my tone one bit. Following a few seconds of silent contemplation, Lilith once again turned towards me.
Wait. Could it be that you force yourself to speak a certain way so it doesn't, make you sound too timid? Is that it?
I evade her gaze, yet the very action ended up confirming her suspicions. Someone once told me,
What?
I should always sound firm and resolute, so that people do not think me a weakling.
Well, I guess that would make sense, considering the way you've been raised. Honestly, though, it really doesn't suit you, now does it?
Leave me alone.
Aww, you're sulking.
I am not. Lilith flashed another smile. I felt thoroughly exposed, almost like she could see right into the depths of my heart. Could we discuss a potentially difficult topic?
You mean Adam?
I hesitantly nodded, yet instead of lashing out at me, she replied in a serene tone. According to the myths.
According to the myth, I fled from Adam. That's more or less correct. I was created as the first woman, but actually ended up tasting that before him.
The fruit of knowledge?
Bingo! And a moment after I ate the fruit, I slammed one mean right hook straight into Adam's jaw.
Lilith victoriously threw her fist into the air. I wasn't sure if I should scold or compliment her feat. Was he really such a bad person?
Oh, if we're talking morals, he was a real nice guy and everything. He'd just smile and offer himself to God as a loyal, obedient servant, claiming he didn't have any free will of his own. So anyway, I hit him. Afterwards, I told Samael about the tree's location. She ended up tempting Adam and Eve. Well, I guess you know the rest.
Lilith's gaze grew distant.
Objectively speaking, I wasn't mad at Adam himself. I was mad at my own ignorance.
Lilith stared deep into the black of night. Her gaze reflected a glint of sorrow and regret, a touch of hatred and anger, or perhaps sheer indifference, nothing more. Her emotions were the palette of the rainbow, complex and dancing in the myriad hues. I see.
But I'm still pretty mad. Hell, if I saw that mug of his now, I'd cut him open and pull out his innards without a shred of hesitation.
This Adam, the one you hit, is he here?
Nope. Didn't I tell you? The Adam we ran into earlier is a new one created by the angels. A neo-atom, if you will.
Created? A certain uneasiness washed over me upon hearing that word.
Still, you might want to keep your distance from him.
Why?
Because you could end up fighting. The two of you are entirely too dissimilar. Cut from different cloth, you could say.
If we are, I'll not go out of my way to treat him as a foe.
I'd like to hope so.
Lilith gestured for me to come closer to the fence, so I did. The view from up here offered nothing save for a veil of dim haze blanketing the obsidian sky. It could be that Pandora didn't need an outside world, or that nothing actually existed beyond its rooftop.
Right now, even if I were to push you over this fence to a gory death below,
Lilith's hands reached out to me, but neither tried to dodge nor did I show any fear at her silly threat.
you wouldn't mind that one bit, would you? You're either content to let the flow of events carry you along or simply see no value in your own life.
I do value my life in a way. In battle, I never hold back.
But that's just because you were ordered to fight and emerge victorious, correct? As such, you give your all to carry out that order, to claim victory as efficiently and swiftly as possible.
Exactly, so...
Assume you were given that same order in a battle you had no chance to win. A battle where you die for certain. You'll still go through with it, right?
Right. I wonder why that even presented a problem in the first place. After all, I was summoned here for that exact purpose.
Well, sure, that's exactly why you're here. But then I had this thought. Wouldn't it be awfully interesting to see you actually reach the gates of heaven?
Me? Reach the gates of heaven?
The ultimate holy land, the most sacred of all sacred realms, a bona fide paradise at the ends of this world. The moment I considered what you'd do if you saw that place, well, I began toying with the idea of having you decimate every trial in this pilgrimage.
Heaven. Huh. Was I truly worthy to push its gates open and step through?
And to be able to see that with my own eyes, I need you to survive this, even after all this has ended.
For the time being, I would endeavor to live up to your expectations.
And for the time being, I accept that answer. But if you end up dying in vain, I'm not erecting a tombstone for you.
Understood. Liv began to casually dangle her legs atop the fence.
Let me think. Was there anything else we needed to discuss? Oh, right. What do you think of Sorami?
She is a peculiar girl, I think. In all honesty, I thought that word fitted perfectly.
Yeah, I'm 100% with you on that one. Gethel summoned one hell of a gal, that's for sure.
She could not soar disguise or dash faster than the speed of sound, nor did she possess that kind of strength that could tear comets asunder. Which was exactly what made it peculiar. She was still alive, living in these hellish times like nothing had happened, like it was the most normal thing in the world. Would I be able to do that? If I had power, certainly, but if not, would I be able to keep my sanity intact?
Which reminds me, make sure to treat Sorami nice, alright? Be her knight in shining armor, basically.
I looked at her in confusion. What's this woman? No, demon. Thinking.
I'm sure Sorami must be a bit on edge, so you gotta make sure to flash the most dazzling of princely smiles to put her at ease.
A dazzling, princely smile? I have a feeling that would only unsettle her.
Maybe. But I'm positively dying to see you like that. It'd be a riot.
You are being dead serious with me, are you not? Well, I'm not exactly the most emotive of people, that much is true. Then again, considering my circumstances, it should come as no surprise.
Hey, don't you give up on me. Why don't you try smiling at me now? Just for fun, you know?
I attempt to flash a beaming smile at her to the best of my abilities.
That sure was creepy.
That criticism was too harsh. Was it not you who wanted me to do it, though?
The way you smile sort of gives me the chills, you know? Try to make it beam with energy, like you were a pop star.
Though I wasn't exactly sure how a smile could beam with energy like a pop star, I nonetheless conclude that a wide, cheery smile would be appropriate here. Alright, here we go. I gather all my willpower and flash the best smile I could possibly muster. I was not sure what to make of Lilith's explosive guffaw.
Do it again. I'm begging you. I won't laugh this time. I promise. Scout's honor.
I am not doing it again. I gave her a stubbornly firm refusal.
Aw, boo. I should have recorded it. Anyway, sun's almost up. We better head back.
Understood. Lilith hopped off the fence in one swift move.
Later.
And she was gone, leaving me with nothing but that quick, carefree phrase. Either way, I could easily find my way back home. I turned around, having suddenly felt a presence from behind, only to come face to face with a young girl standing just a few centimeters away from me. She suddenly stood in place, acting like nothing was amiss. But the fact I'd been unable to pick up her presence, despite how close she was, left me in complete shock. Her appearance was that of a young girl, no older than 12 or 13. If Tokyo Babel taught me anything, that looks could be deceiving. Golden locks, seemingly natural, not dyed, an Alice band and a white blue apron dress. A necklace with a winged serpent motif hung from her neck, excellent in eerie contrast to otherwise everyday attire. I laughed, ridiculed, mocked, and belittled. Still, that alone did unequivocally establish her as a foe. After all, even an ally would have ample reason to mock me. So the question remained, who was she, exactly?
So, you're Lilith's little plaything?
I would question that particular choice of words, but putting that aside for a moment, you're right, it was Lilith who summoned me here.
Oh, I see. So you are her plaything.
A cheerful giggle escaped her lips as I stood there, uncertain whether or not she paid attention to what I just said. Anyway, am I explaining who you are?
Me? Let's see. You tell me, mister. Who am I?
She once again giggled, clearly taking me for a fool. This appeared to be her usual style, in which case there was little reason to let it get to me. Yet the mystery of her identity remained unsolved. Are you an angel? Or a demon, perhaps?
I used to be an angel, but now I guess I'm closer to a demon.
A so-called fallen angel. Then again, Lilith was no angel either, but fallen all the same. Which left only a few other options, judging by the serpent-shaped necklace and the way she spoke. After performing a quick search, I got a number of hints. Picked out the most likely candidate and spoke the name out loud. The Angel of Venom and Death, the serpent who once tempted Adam and Eve in paradise, Samael.
Correct! Maybe a little kiss would suffice as a reward.
I would have to respectfully decline. I retreated a few steps until I could feel the wired fence pressing against my back. Samael kept observing my every move, her wicked smile growing broader with every passing second. Well, no matter. She could look down on me at all she wanted. I'd rather be considered small fry than a genuine threat.
So, do you want to go to heaven too?
Not particularly. However, some of my peers would be greatly inconvenienced should this gate remain sealed. As such, it is not a problem I could easily ignore.
So they're inconvenienced, what of it? Just leave them be and embrace your inevitable destruction together. Wouldn't that be way more fun?
If you harbor self-destructive impulses, that's your own business. I'll not stand in your way. But to involve those not sharing such ambitions, I'm not sure how to feel about that.
Aw, that's boring. I'd be far more grand to have everyone partake in complete annihilation together.
That would place me in a difficult position.
That's exactly the point.
The girl thrusts out her tongue at me, its vivid red shape coiling about like a serpent's.
Oh, whatever. I only came to introduce myself for now.
For now. Which meant she would eventually have other plans.
Yep, I wanted to meet the person who ended up piquing Lilith's interest to this extent.
In other words, you can't just satisfy your own curiosity.
Who says no, was it? I have something to ask you.
So do I.
Oh? I'll start then. So, do you have any interest whatsoever in God?
As long as I am here in Tokyo Babel, it goes without saying.
Sorry, let me rephrase that. Have you ever considered becoming a god yourself?
Something deep within the very core of my heart stirred to life, jolted awake by her words. Never. Not once.
Aww. This is God we're talking about. God! The one and only omnipotent supreme being? Do you seriously have no interest in any of that?
I do not. Anyway, it is time for my question. Or Astaroth, Samael, and Lilith aware of your presence here?
And what exactly do you mean by aware?
Slowly bob my right hand to her fist, switching to combat mode while I analyze all potential methods of dealing with the present situation. Naturally, I mean the fact that your ambitions are in sharp contrast with the collective goals of every human, angel, and demon currently residing at Tokyo Babel.
Huh? Oh, I don't know. I'm not really good at thinking about complex stuff.
That's all the more cause for worry.
What do you think?
Samael lifted into the air, her shape distorting for a second. You were to stand in my way.
What then?
I heard a faint whisper right next to my ear. And time took me to glance up. Samael was already standing next to me. She peered into my eyes and gazed filled with curiosity as she leaned in on the nearby fence. Having no doubt sensed my distress, Samael's lips curled into the satisfied smile of a successful prankster. I see no other way than to dispose of you.
Oh, look at me, quaking in my boots. We don't need another guy with that short-fused personality around here. Belial's more than enough on his own.
The floating Samael removed her necklace and threw it into the concrete floor below. A moment later, a colossal multi-legged serpent materialized before me from a flash of blinding light, his body an otherworldly fusion of lizard and centipede. A glowing pattern set upon a beast's forehead like a crown. Could this creature be?
Say hi to my pet Lisky. He's got plenty of legs, so don't even think about trying to outrun him.
The Serpent King, Basilisk. I left the site almost immediately to escape the beast's field of vision, but I was too slow. I felt my entire body buckle under a tremendous amount of pressure. Whoever the basilisk's gaze fell upon would gradually be petrified. One did not actually need to make eye contact with the creature for the process to begin. I simply worked out the necessary countermeasures and ordered my body to produce the appropriate antibody. Extracting the genetic information from my skin, muscle, and blood, all undergo rapid petrification, so to fight out the process via the nanomachines in my bloodstream. Petrification advanced faster than I anticipated. My entire body was gradually solidifying with an unpleasant cracking sound accompanying the process.
See you later, alligator. Well, either that or y'all just die.
Sorami mounted her basilisk like a steed and took to the skies, leaving the rooftop. The thought of pursuing them crossed my mind for a split second, but ultimately I decided against it. I would never catch up to them, even with a healed body at full speed. I diverted all remaining energy I had left to heal myself. My muscles had solidified into a mass hard as rock. The state of it resembled the symptoms of a certain existing illness, yet the speed of the entire process was abnormally high. However, close resemblance meant that treatment would also be similar. I finally began producing medical antibodies through my nanomachines. The oppressive feeling that kept my body locked up in place began to gradually let up, and by the time I could move my fingers again, I had completely reversed the petrification process. Still, that was not an experience I cared to live through ever again. As I made my way to the top of the fence to look back over the deserted rooftop, a certain thought came to me. We would protect the humans, guide the angels back to heaven, and let the demons to return to hell. All would join hands as one to make that happen, with only our enemies being the maddened masters. My sights set on that one, in a way fairly simple mission. Yet considering the sheer amount of power players had assembled here, one could hardly be surprised at the inevitable emergence of forces harboring differing ambitions. Even on the brink of the apocalypse, there existed those who would willingly press the launch button for a nuclear missile, guided by calmly calculated intentions rooted in reason and logic. Problems emerged, however, when that very logic was distorted at its core. I kept flying, or letting myself fall, downward while visualizing the image of the first floor in my mind. As I began approaching ground level, I resumed my flight and opened a window and landed safely in the hallway.
Hey, what took you so long?
Lilith reprimanded me as soon as our eyes met, which I followed with a brief apology. I was just about to recount what had transpired atop the roof.
Your arm! What happened to your arm?
He put my right arm with a trembling hand, looked down to see what caused her panic, only to find my arm completely flayed of his skin. Sorry, I should not have allowed you to see me like this. Immediately began renewing my lost skin, most likely shed it as soon as I was being slowly petrified earlier.
Just what the hell happened in the 5 minutes after I left you?
I was attacked.
Oh? By who?
A fallen angel by the name of Samael.
Okay then. Why don't you start at the beginning,
They look at me with the gaze of a predator in front of its would-be prey. I explained what had happened, as Sarah came up to me shortly after Lilith left. They mentioned Sarah's clear antagonism towards us, so the fact that she had attacked me. Back in the night duty room, where both Sorami and Raziel were sleeping, they let out a wary smile while sipping her tea.
Guess I'll start by explaining all this to Astaroth and Samael. So that little rascal was alive after all.
You mean she was supposed to be dead?
Well, she disappeared around the time Hell got submerged. She was a real nasty piece of work too.
I see. So Sorami was our enemy, someone who declared herself to be a foe to angels and demons alike. What are her motives, goals, and plans for the future? I hadn't the faintest clue. I guess one thing I learned about her is that she doesn't want us to reach heaven.
Ugh, damn it. So now we need to be on the lookout for Samael too.
She let out an exaggerated sigh. Either because the sun had risen or it simply heard us talking, Sorami and Raziel woke up nearby nearly the same time.
Ugh, and bam! Morning, everyone. God damn it really wasn't a dream.
Sorami jumped to her feet after kicking her futon up into the air.
People are already shouting so early in the morning.
So our long day of trials and tribulations came to an end, only for another one to begin. Having neither the need nor the inclination to sleep, I spent my time planning our next mission.
So,
We've seen this before.
okay. I was wondering.
Inoue Wataru, the boy who devoured demon. Let's investigate Inoue Wataru first.
I mean, that's the reason why you pick him.
I did not have a particular reason. Well, since I found suspicious, I merely assumed it might be best to trust your intuition.
My, you're putting this much value into my woman's intuition.
I'm a woman too.
Me too!
You should know my inner tigress is on a completely different level from you two.
Inner tigress?
Never mind.
Look at the virgin talk.
What did you just say? What the fuck did you just say? You were talking behind my back, weren't ya?
Lilith, with tears in her eyes, proceeded to shoot a volley of ineffective jabs at Raziel's chest.
Big meanie.
What made you suddenly go gangsta there?
I thought that would make me sound cuter and add to my feminine charm.
I wasn't so sure it worked the way she intended.
Think it worked, Setsuna?
The one thing I learned is that you would be a very exhausting person to date.
Rude. Don't give him understanding O's.
And after that episode,
I'm leaving Inoue in your hands, Sorami. Use your impeccable conversation skills to pry everything there is to know out of him.
Aye, aye, sir.
Meanwhile, I'll do some special training with you, Setsuna. Well, I said training, but it'll be more like getting used to fighting in Tokyo Babel in general, I guess.
acknowledge. I wasn't too good at talking to people after all. Smart decision on Liv's power to live the logistic investigation of Sorami. What I wish most of all right now is to improve my fighting techniques. Innate abilities might have gotten us through the encounter with Gethel somehow, but I highly doubt if they'd prove enough to conquer the entirety of Tokyo Babel.
Alright, then we'll be off to the gym. Sorami, you can run along with the investigation while Raziel, you...
I'll go to the library and gather more information that could help us.
You seem to be very content with that role.
Well, as long as you look for the relevant stuff. Oh, and could you feed Cerberus today if you're going that way?
Cerberus was a three-headed Koji that was kept around here. He used to be watched out the gates of hell in the past, but nowadays he's just acting as a cute little animal, eventually becoming the mascot of Pandora. No one can repeat that line if he transformed to his real shape, though.
Serby?
Yeah, today's our turn to feed it.
Sound like even animals in Pandora were managed as they would have been in regular school.
Isn't Cerberus the three-headed hellhound that guards the gates of hell?
The one and only.
Is he cool?
Sorami seemed excited.
He's cute, if anything.
I want to see!
You can feed him today if you want.
Seems Sorami fell right into Raziel's trap.
I'll do it!
Raziel raised her hand in a salutatory pose, so Lilith and I gave her a poke on her forehead.
Alright, let's practice punching, kicking, and slicing people when airborne today.
Acknowledged. Lilith picked up two bamboo swords. The one went for me to catch. Apparently she wanted to practice with those. Am I supposed to fight you?
I guess fighting Samael or Belial would be better for you, since you're stronger than me and all.
She paused for a moment of deliberation, but eventually seemed to dismiss the idea, ready her sword.
Let's try with me first, and if you feel I can't keep up with you, we can ask Samael and Belial to help tomorrow.
Lilith swung the bamboo sword a few times, come through the wind with a master's grace, right at my nose.
If you feel I can't keep up with you, that is.
Let's try and doing this for now.
Alright, then let's do this.
Something hard hit my head the very second she gave the signal. I couldn't react. I could see what it was. I blinked once and there it was, a bamboo sword in my face.
I accelerated this thing through air magic. My physical abilities are hardly outstanding, but I can make up for them with other powers, to an extent.
She let out a boastful chuckle.
Oh, the good thing about this trick is that it doesn't use that much magical energy. If you summoned flames and rained them down on your opponent, you'd run out in no time. But
Next, Lilith got a hold of me, sent me flying towards the ceiling.
you can use those self-augmentation powers for more or less the whole fight without running out. I think your meager magical energy stock should be enough to support them.
I thought I heard her speaking, but I had trouble concentrating on her words as my backbone crashed into the ceiling.
You're wasting too much energy on nothing.
The bamboo sword crashed into my face.
You're taking too much time swapping the magic attributes.
The bamboo sword dug into my solar plexus.
You're way too slow. Go faster. I said faster.
There was hardly a place left in my body that the bamboo sword hadn't marked at some point. Let it move through the field strategically, elusive but also hell-bent on causing me damage. She danced around the field, unhindered, her lightning swings like stings of a bee. Despite the pain, however, merely observing her helped me understand how one could use magic more effectively. There was a vast difference between the amount of magical energy human and demon bodies could store. I couldn't catch up to her on that end, no matter how hard I tried. It was an inborn aptitude no human could ever hope to surpass angels and demons in that regard. Still, we weren't completely helpless as long as we knew how to use it effectively. I could waste my magical energy summoning flames that would swallow everything around me, but I could do the same, burn everything, through physical means instead. After what I thought were about 10 hours, but in truth were 10 minutes, we decided to take a break.
Thirsty?
Yeah. I snatched the bottle out of her hands and gulped everything it contained in a single breath. For a moment, I was worried my sweat glands were haywire from the amount of sweat that excreted for the flight.
The hell? Leave some for me, man.
They'd pull out a second bottle from somewhere.
Phew, this water hits the spot. First time I ever got this sweaty.
First time? Have you not fought anyone in the past? It made more sense if she said it was a long while, but the first time? I couldn't believe she never had a chance to fight anyone in the thousands of years she spent in the world. Lilith covered her mouth, the words whoops escaping her through her fingers. Apparently I should have heard that remark.
Whoops. Let's just say I have my secrets. Not like they matter much to anyone. Curious?
Well, I would certainly like to know. You don't mind sharing, that is.
Let's change places to the roof or something. Doesn't feel right to discuss that stuff in tracksuits.
Is this something that necessitates wearing a uniform to speak about? Lilith mysteriously smiled, whispering, "Sure."
Sure.
Both of us back in uniforms, we faced each other. She leaned against the roof's fence with her back, took a sip from the bottle of Ramoon she seemed to have pilfered somewhere.
Do you think records and memories are two different things?
She came at me with a question out of the blue. Yeah, I suppose they are.
You write records. You engrave memories. And well, I have loads of records, but very few real memories.
You do not have memories?
Truth is the daughter of time. Deception is the daughter of darkness. That's my raison d'etre.
Finished with her drink, she languidly threw the bottle behind her, over and beyond the fence.
If you want to be more specific, I'm just an illusion, but I still kind of exist.
What do you mean? To signal me to come closer. As it did, she reached out and touched my face with the tip of her finger.
I'm just a hologram. I am kind of, but not really here.
Yeah, I know that much.
By nature, I'm the least illusion-like of any hologram you'll ever see.
She chuckled to herself.
When you think of holograms, you normally expect them to be just a reflection of their host, worse than mindless robots. But me? I actually have self-awareness. Well, you know, like a copy or something. The moment I was copied from the original, I took on my own individual identity.
It's like a mass-produced robot whose AI continues to develop independently after its manufacturing.
Yep. Good analogy there.
She gave me a nod.
Well, in any case, the one before you is Lilith, but not myself. Everything I say is as much deception as it is truth. Quite philosophical if I say so myself.
Would I qualify as philosophical? Either way, the part of her speech bothered me a little. Are there other Liliths like you, then?
Yeah, and a lot to boot. But I'm the only one in Pandora.
And the rest? She shrugged.
Not the slightest idea. I can only vaguely tell where they are.
If you're just a hologram, then where's the original? I mean, a hologram could be a hologram without reflecting something real. There had to be someone who made her in the image of themselves. They mischievously smiled and answered the question with a question.
What good will it do to you to know that?
I wonder. I merely thought I would like to meet her one day.
She's a complete bore, my original. I wouldn't recommend it.
I shook my head. Do not belittle yourself, Lilith. Truth is, I yet to meet anyone more eccentric than you. She hit me. She only attacked me for no apparent reason at all. That hurt.
Shut up! You've completely ruined the melancholic mood.
Were you trying to be melancholic?
What if I ordered you to never meet my original, but she herself came here looking for you? Would you listen to me? Or to her?
Are there times when your opinion clashes with the originals?
Not in my recent recollection, but a situation like that might arise sometime. Maybe.
If that ever came to pass, I would side with you. I had to spend a second to consider the answer. I thought the reasoning was obvious, but Lilith seemed to have been surprised.
You'd prefer my opinion?
Of course. You are the one who saved me, not the original, or whatever she is.
Saved you? Come now, the only thing I did was transport you from one hell to another.
At the very least, this world has yet to end. It still appears to be hanging on a thread, unlike the smoldering wasteland I left behind. Something in my words seemed to make Lilith glance at the sky. I followed her gaze.
I wonder about that. We might be only struggling fruitlessly in a world that has already come to an end.
I've heard that over 80% of the world's angels and demons had already fallen into the divine calamity.
Other guys believe that all will return back to normal if someone manages to finish that pilgrimage business. That they all would be able to return back to their old lives.
Is that not the case?
The thought's as naive as the imagination of a babe. To survive, we have to embrace and adapt to the new order of the world. The old beings of power should understand that their rule is no longer absolute here.
Beings of power? Are you talking about God?
Well, yeah. Also, the 4 master angels seem to be out of the picture on the light side, while our own Lucifer has fallen too.
All of them are still treated as missing in action. But given the conditions of Tokyo Babel, it would probably been more wise to assume them perished at this point.
I wonder how it's all going to play out in the end.
Well, at least we know it cannot get any worse.
You should know that you're seriously underestimating this place if that's really what you think.
I fell silent for a moment. Eventually, Lilith clapped her hands to liven up the mood.
We sure got gloomy there. Let's talk about something more interesting.
I'm fine with that. What'd you like to discuss?
Well, let's talk about the fashion of young'uns and how many girls have you dated till now?
None. Then.
Hey, don't cut the conversation short like that. Man up and take the reins for once.
That was a very tall order for someone like myself. I've never really had a partner like that, platonic or otherwise.
Otherwise? Is that where it goes when you take the reins?
What was she imagining? Not to mention I recall having this conversation before. Lilith, have you ever dated someone?
Sure I have. I'm quite a vixen, you should know. I change men like socks. What?
Even if that were true, would those not be a part of the original's record, rather than your own memories? This face grew bright red from what I guessed was uncontained rage, and she proceeded to hit me again.
You fool! Nincompoop!
One could mistake this for a heartwarming rom-com routine, but her punches and brooded magic rained down on my body hard. While they lacked killing intent, she was more than willing to maim. One tremendous blow crashed into my liver. I staggered, bile rising up my throat.
Who cares about me? Well, I'd rather someone did actually. Let's forget me for now, okay? We should discuss you.
Me?
Yeah, don't you think there are quite a lot of cute girls around these parts?
I am not particularly interested.
Even though you were in the prime of puberty?
I've yet to reach the apex of puberty, nor am I ever planning to. You should know that better than anyone, Lilith. I passed away in a couple of years. I was designed as a temporal component of a god. When I died, another one like me was to take my place. In that sense, I guess I was kind of similar to Lilith.
Maybe we could figure something out.
She didn't seem particularly shaken by the revelation. I highly doubt it.
If you try hard enough, you can find a way for anything. This place is full of angels and demons, you know. I imagine we could find at least one that could fix you.
It wasn't an issue of fixing or breaking. My body could only function for a few years as per its core design. That the angels or demons could rework every single one of my cells. Not to mention, I do not wish for a long life. I'd be more than content to sacrifice myself if it meant bettering the situation here.
Well, I was the one who told you I'd use you till you're broken beyond repair, I guess. Though I'd rather you took care of yourself until we finish the pilgrimage.
Acknowledge. I would try to survive until then, at least.
Also, don't you think it's about time you return to speaking like a normal person? You don't need to act all official with us, you know.
I hesitated for a second, but then again, I myself wasn't overtly comfortable the way I'd been forced to speak. I decided to go with her suggestion. Why'd you choose me for this mission? It was the adoption of a more casual tone, but I suddenly felt like I could openly ask her a question I've been weighing on my mind for a while.
Huh. Swell, because it seemed more fun that way, I guess.
I couldn't help making a face. You summoned me because it seemed fun?
Yeah, fun's important, you know. It makes the world spin around, and even if you scour the entirety of the multiverse, you can hardly find anyone that led as peculiar a life as you have.
Fun. Huh. Didn't necessarily feel contempt about her changing my fate because of a random whim. In any case, the truth was that she had saved my life didn't change, though there was still one thing that bothered me. Am I really necessary?
Of course you are.
She grinned, as if having seen straight through me. She suddenly smiled a lot now that I thought about it. The whole world probably looked like one giant box of fun to someone like her. Still, I wouldn't recommend sharing your philosophy with others here.
Yeah, I won't argue that. After all, I'm not directly involved with what's going on here, so I can't, understand the feelings of those experiencing it all firsthand and stuff.
She chose fun as a motivation in a world where demons died, angels went mad and humans were at the brink of extinction. Rather than just a blasphemy, the action felt almost like an actual sin against nature at this point. Or at least those more righteous than myself would likely think so. I thought the demons would have enjoyed having their lives played around with, just for fun. Not directly involved, huh? So even if this world fell, wouldn't affect you that much?
Yep, that's right. Well, I'd be sad if you guys died and all, but you should also remember that not even a year has passed since we all met.
Quite callous, aren't you? My harsh statement only made her smile.
Yep, I am absolutely callous. I doubt deaths or anyone's tears could ever move me much. I'd probably see them off in my usual aloof manner.
Even or me dying?
Yeah, of course. I'd see you off with a smile.
She already had a broad grin on her face. I see, then I suppose I... Then I shall cry for you.
Huh?
She opened her eyes wide. Do you think I had no lacrimal glands? If I have emotions, if you die, I'll make sure to stimulate them. Lament your passing with a waterfall of tears. Squeezing her lifeless hand, I shall shed tears, curse the inequity of fate.
Huh? I don't like sappy stuff, so don't you dare do anything like that, alright?
Is that an order?
Sure it is. And I'm designating it as our #1 priority item. I'll let you know.
Roger. Then I shall wail like a child instead.
Good grief! I'm telling you not to cry at all, alright? Don't dare bawl over me, okay?
The one thing I found out today was that it could be pretty fun to tease her.
Oh no.
Ahem, ladies and gentlemen! Alright, my voice finally got through. I think that I died like a billion times already. Over and over and over again. Screw that crap. I can't take it anymore. Anyway, you over there. Yeah, you. Not Tendu Setsuna or all that nonsense. Can you see me? I guess this should go fine as long as you do. Anyway, thanks for enjoying the story of his life, or, in a way, death, I guess. Yeah, this is definitely a better way to start. You can't go wrong with expressing your gratitude properly. Even a snake like myself understands that much. Embracing the tough truth uncovered by Raziel or Kugutsu Sorami, you nevertheless decide to walk forward in one candid way of life. Memorable to awful levels, don't you think? Now, the last story you still have ahead of you is that of Lilith. This one is going to be a tad bit different from the rest. A trusty comrade at Setsuna's side, unlike Raziel or Sorami, she hides no secrets. She's just a regular demon that fell from heaven like all of their kind and lived together with humans doing little of significance. She's one-dimensional as humans go. In other words, the heroine of this tale, Lilith, has no twist for you in store. You want to see her story nonetheless? I see. I guess it's a fair choice. Time is money, as they say, and this here might be about the right place to stop wasting them both. Still, it would get pretty lonesome if you just deleted us like this. I'd feel real happy if you tried going through my question one more time later. After maybe a month or a year or whenever. I have no idea if our story's gonna be good enough to amount for the grand finale of this game. I mean, I have yet to experience it myself. Well, it would certainly help us finally rest in peace if you got it out of the way. Whatever. Goodbye, everyone! Can fallen angels rest in peace? I see. Well, then I have nothing to add. Go ahead and watch it unfold, and as many times as you want if your heart so desires. This story is and will always be in your hands to do as you please. Anyway, I guess that's enough fourth wall breaking today. I pray you've made the right choice.
I found Sorami completely exhausted, hugging her desk as a makeshift pillow. Apparently, conversation with Hanoe Wataru didn't go well.
Phew, the guy speaks like a tennis player in his prime.
That's a weird analogy.
What if I change that to a stereotypical African-American from a Hollywood movie?
I can kind of see what you mean now.
He asked me to marry him.
What? Suddenly jumped to her feet.
Curious?
Huh? Well,
You're curious, aren't you?
not really.
Tell me you're curious.
Okay, I'm curious then.
Phew. So, you're curious.
No, not really.
Oh, I'm sorry, I was just fooling around. He asked me to marry him, but I totally fought him off, okay?
What I warrant getting violent about?
I mean, he asked me to marry him before we started dating. Heck, even before we had the chance to become friends. Well, I might have been fine with it if it was you asking instead.
Would you marry me if I asked you? So let me give you a nod with a smile.
Oh, alright. Let's be happy together forever.
Sorami, could you please stop striding yourself in front of me and raise your eyes?
If that's what you want.
She probably stood up and chose to sit on the chair this time. I suppose she was floating around again, right?
Well, that aside, you seem kind of different today.
Different?
Yeah. Well, not physically, but you seem kind of...
He seemed to relax that stiff tone of his, didn't he?
I didn't notice Raziel had been sipping tea in our kitchen.
Oh, yeah, that's it. What's up with that?
I always have to try to speak more casually from now on.
Who'd ask that of you?
Lilith, who else? She kept going on and on about how it was bothering her.
So it was bothering her.
By the way, did you two know each other for long?
Not really. Not around the same time I met you. Or did I? We didn't know each other for long indeed, but I hear she had been observing me for a while before making contact.
She knows him for hardly a day longer than you.
Oh, is that so? Well, that's one weight off my heart.
You got a sigh of relief for some reason. Huh? Has something been bothering you?
I mean, you two are always in, like, perfect sync, if you know what I mean. so I kind of thought that you might have known each other from early childhood or something.
You'd have to be over 2,000 years old to be her childhood friend.
Did she have a childhood? As in, was she ever young, looking like a kid?
That's indeed curious. Lilith in her early childhood, or better put, Lilith.
The hell are you all talking about? I'm always young.
Oh, Aunt Lilith's here.
You've just gotten yourself in front of a... No. You've just gotten yourself in for a lot of pain, you know. Better bare your head, chest, and bottom regions while you still can.
I am so sorry for my insolent remarks.
But the eyes didn't reflect a smile on her lips whatsoever. Sorami yielded unconditionally.
Well, I guess you could say Lilith is still a child in a way.
Raziel smiled mischievously.
Huh?
Like the bottom area.
Raziel directed her gaze down, straight to Lilith's.
Time out! Why the hell do you know that?
His face flushed so red, I got worried her skin might catch fire. Though still had no idea what Raziel tried to imply.
Oh, I think I got it.
Sorami claps her hands in a gesture of understanding.
You don't need to get it! Forget it all this very instant!
Setsuna. Lilith actually has no hat.
You're dead.
Raziel fled the room like a rabbit, Lilith vaulting after her in a fit of undiluted rage. Judging from the sounds of the explosion that reached us from the corridor, let's see that I've been seriously upset this time. Sorami too seemed to have flushed all red. No idea what was going on, so I decided to ask her to clarify the situation. So, what was that all about?
I don't think I can bring myself to put it to words. Let's just say a part of Lilith's body is cute, but in that barely legal kind of way.
I still didn't get it. I felt it unwise to try to pry further. Frank. Oh, crap.
Hey, your friends are kind of destroying our building over there. Have they gone mad? Should I start thinking about exterminating them?
No, I think they're still fine. Though, someone had indeed been mad in a different sense of the word. Is that something you got mad about?
Do you want me to just do both of these?
Yeah, just for now.
Okay. Your resident idiot Lilith stumbled into our library just a couple of minutes ago and completely wrecked some of our bookshelves. We are kind of wondering whom we should approach regarding the compensation for the damage.
In the end, they didn't come back until very late into the night.
I think I managed to make her forget that. Took quite a bit of physical force, though.
Who would have thought a girl who I thought was a friend would suddenly turn into a wild beast and jump me?
Raziel was held in by the collar, sporting a lump the size of a fist on her head.
I am Sorami would be next.
Beep, beep. My memory bank is empty, Lady Lilith. Beep, beep.
Imitating a robot, somebody promptly hit behind my back.
Well, I guess I can let you off the hook for today. Now, I just have to.
Me?
Yes, you. You've learned my secret, haven't you?
No, I didn't. I still don't quite understand what could have made you so angry.
Seriously?
Dead serious. Beep, beep.
Little let out a sigh of relief.
Thank God.
I don't know the issue, but from the information that's available to me, just let me tell you that everyone has a thing or two they don't particularly like about the condition of their body. I don't think you should worry about it too much. Though for the life of me, I had no idea what exactly could cause her to go that far.
A well-meant and sound piece of advice. But let me hit you anyway.
That was very unfair. Ouch. Let's copy-paste file A. Now we have two identical files, both named file A. So we should rename one to file B since no two completely identical things can share the same world. File A and file B currently have the same size and are for our intents and purposes the same. Frank, go for it.
From now on, however, they shall be exposed to different people. Insert a command, and their size increases. The origin of both files might have been the same, but now they walked completely different paths. They had gone their own directions. Could one still call them the same at this point? No, they were on different paths that would never cross again.
I spent the next day practicing with my sword. I graduated from a bamboo source, thus was now learning how to wield the real thing. In other words, I couldn't have the Picati's sword in my hands. Only true masters could wield their weapons like an extension of their own body. I, on the other hand, had to keep my head full of information about all and everything, from fencing techniques to the intricacies of my surroundings. Though I highly doubted simple swordsmanship would work on any of my future opponents. Still, I had to get used to the basics before thinking of applying flashier tricks to my repertoire. I lost myself in analyzing various sword techniques from mankind's history and trying to merge them into one that suit me best. The books I got from the library courtesy of Raziel proved to be surprisingly useful. Crap. James, go ahead.
Excuse me, is Tendo Setsuna present?
Surprised, I stopped practicing my swings and turned around. I was met by the eyes of the currently most influential demon in Pandora, the Crown Prince of Hell, Astaroth. His subordinate Lucifuge seemed to have come with him as well. Taking a few graceful steps forward, Astaroth stood tall, right in front of me. I had trouble imagining what business someone of his influence could have had with a regular pilgrim like myself.
I heard you're a fake, just like Lilith.
Seemed like it was my heritage that piqued his curiosity. But, just like Lilith? The light momentarily lit a spark of joy in my heart, and soon extinguished by the wave of anxiety that followed. Who told you? I frowned. My past wasn't the kind would have liked others to pry into too deep. Astaroth shrugged.
I've heard all about you directly from Lilith during your summoning. After all, you're the first human she ever displayed interest in.
As far as I knew, most angels handpicked various able individuals from the multiverse to accompany them on their quest to topple Tokyo Babel. Men that possessed what could only be labeled as superpowers, men that had the sixth sense, Most of the men they brought had a history comprised solely of mind-staggering heroic deeds. Among them, Lilith also scoured the various worlds, yet she neither found nor tried saving anyone other than me.
I got very curious why she'd pick you of all people, you see. So I couldn't help myself asking her for a few details.
Well, I suppose she couldn't very well sweep everything under the rug when the most influential demon directly interrogated her for answers.
Do you know about her?
In the sense that we're similar?
Indeed. She might have a body, feel pain, and harbor emotions, but she is still just a hologram. The original Lilith can mass-produce such copies of herself to her heart's content for as long as she herself keeps alive.
I didn't like the sound of the word mass-produce, for I too was originally supposed to be mass-produced. As the god of the first generation, I had a duty to relinquish the throne to my own younger copy when my time came to an end.
That's why she has far more freedom than anyone else in Pandora, and is probably safer than anyone else as well. For if she slayed a copy, it would hardly affect the well-being of her original.
I wanted to contradict him, but I stopped myself short. She was indeed a copy, but the idea about her being easily replaceable felt somewhat off. Next Lilith that would come here wouldn't be the same individual. Even if she recalled all the memories of our time together, she would still be someone else.
It doesn't anger you?
Why should I be angry?
She alone is safe, while we are in peril.
Slowly shook my head. No, it's all for the better if I don't need to worry about the safety of my employer.
So to you, she is like an employer.
Yes.
Then, what would you think about changing your boss?
Astaroth's suggestion came from so far out of the blue I had trouble keeping up with the conversation. What?
Serve me instead, Tendo Setsuna. I saw through you from a single glance. You're not someone that should waste your time on mere pilgrimages.
I was at a loss for words. I had no idea what it could have possibly made him overestimate me so much. For starters, I went the most reasonable response. I had to decline. What other option was there?
Well, I must admit I expected you to answer thus, though I must also say it's tough dealing with those that you cannot simply buy off.
I'm not planning to stick my nose into anything that I'm not properly briefed on prior to the arrangement, regardless of the pay.
A wise way of life. You can never be too careful. Are you currently training to control magic?
Yes.
Then let me help you.
Are you serious? Astaroth gave me a smile and nodded. My smile was so crooked I felt a shudder rush up my spine. I suddenly felt like taking a step back to stop myself. I don't know why, but I felt like it would be shameful to show weakness in this situation.
Tendo Setsuna, I believe you understand you're far inferior to me in battle. Why would you think that is?
He pointed his fists at me. Well, I imagine there are many reasons, but the biggest one is the difference in the amount of magical energy our bodies can stock. Astaroth smiled again and shook his head.
Wrong.
Before I knew it, his fist was right in front of my eyes. Why didn't he move? In a movement of air, I imagined he stepped towards me at such speed that blinking once was enough to miss the whole thing.
Even if you were inferior to me in everything, in brute strength and sheer speed, in endurance and acceleration, in reflexes and experience, in magic and its handling, You still have a way to turn the tables in this Tokyo Babel.
Raison d'etre. He pulled his fist away.
Yes, exactly. The solid sense of your own existence, the impulse to sing, the veracity of your being, the iron will. You haven't found it yet, have you?
No. Maybe somewhere in my heart I had yet to accept it. That justifying one's life could truly lead to strength.
Oh, but it's strong. It infused even me with power far superior to anything I could achieve with magic.
If you don't mind, could you tell me what your raison d'etre is?
One's reason to live should not be flaunted with just anybody, human.
The Astaroth shook his head in response to Lucifuge's remark.
No, it's all right. My raison d'etre is affectionate hate.
Affectionate hate? Affection and hate?
I hate those whom I love. The wish to destroy and the wish to treasure are one and the same to me. And those I can neither love nor hate might as well not exist as far as I'm concerned.
Astaroth's expression was that indifference. It seemed why he was currently, to an extent, interested in who I was. It still wasn't important enough for him to direct his emotions at me. Should I have been happy or distressed by the fact? His information might help me in finding a raison d'etre of my own. Could you explain your raison d'etre in a little bit more detail? Astaroth paused for a second, then nodded.
Do you have a woman you love? Well, or a man. Either is fine.
No, not neither.
What about that human girl, Kugutsu Sorami, was it? Don't you love her?
You're asking for love as a man's attraction to a woman, then the answer is no. I've only met her a couple days ago.
Aren't a couple of days as good as a few years for someone like you?
I thought we were talking about you today.
Well, how can I possibly explain affectionate hate to someone who doesn't know love?
I suppose you was right. But I couldn't help not knowing. Could I?
Sorry for growing a little bit nasty there. Let me continue. Let's say you find someone you love. Someone you'd like to send flowers or other gifts to. Someone you can't help but want to hold in your hands. What would you do to attain everything of her or him?
Marry her? I said the first thing that came to my mind. Astaroth shook his head.
For you, that may be enough. But I cannot help but crave to tarnish her at the same time. Hate can sometimes grow stronger than affection. I'm sure you have met a person or two who choose to dwell in it rather than love.
A mother whose child was killed, choosing revenge over a loving life with her husband. A man whose family was killed, choosing revenge instead of looking for a new love. Hatred, bitterness, resentment. While half the world's conflicts were doubtlessly grounded in these concepts, even those of national scale.
Let's say, for example, the woman you feel affectionate towards loves you back. But can you truly say you have attained everything of her if she doesn't bestow upon you her feelings of hatred?
A philosophy befitting a demon indeed.
Both of my sides, crave everything. Love and hatred alike.
From these words, I could certainly tell he used to have someone like that in his life.
I wished for everything, to the point of lunacy, like a selfish child that didn't know better.
I see.
Receiving everything, both love and hate, and giving all of it back is my raison d'etre.
Cannot say I'm feeling overly envious of those you fall in love with. Astaroth narrowed his eyes. With both sorrow and joy coloring his features, he gave me a nod.
Indeed, you're right to think so. It's probably terrible to be on the receiving end of my affection.
Astaroth took a step back, faced Lucifuge.
Lucifuge, teach him how to wield magic properly. Is this truly what you desire, your lordship? You're a better teacher than I would be, after all. If such is your command, Lord Astaroth.
Lucifuge, looking like nothing more than Astaroth's butler, gave his master a bow and faced me. I could feel static electricity zap all throughout his body as I met his eyes.
Do you know my name, child?
Lucifuge, the Chancellor of Hell and Astaroth's confidence. You're responsible for managing the world's wealth and are ranked as 41 of Gothia.
I did not expect you to be so knowledgeable about me.
He rubbed his chin, seemingly pleased. I'm sorry, to tell the truth, that's the extent of everything I know about you. Lucifuge fell silent. For a moment I felt as if an ice-cold hand traced along my back, chilling my blood, but stealing my heart. I nonetheless tried inquiring further. There's one other matter that's been bothering me, actually. I imagine Chancellor of Hell should be quite a high rank for a demon, so can't help but wonder why you're acting like a butler. Lucifuge started trembling all over.
Lord Astaroth, I believe I shall grace him with the full extent of my power.